I have always opined on this platform that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. And that everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. Yesterday, the former governor for Meru, Kiraitu Murungi, officially dumped Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta and joined William Samoei Arap Ruto. In my view, I think the move by Kiraitu is significant politically speaking, and it is intended to achieve certain political objectives. And it's significant because, number one, Kiraitu Murungi is one of the key allies of President Uhuru Kenyatta in the Meru region. That can explain why President Uhuru Kenyatta had to prevail upon Peter Munya not to contest in Meru, but instead support Kiraitu Murungi. Number two, the timing of the move. The Supreme Court is expected to deliver their ruling on Monday. Yesterday, when Kiraitu Murungi was meeting William Samoei Arap Ruto, the Supreme Court was listening to the submissions by both parties, and it was actually the last day of the hearing. So it's significant. And another important thing which we need to note is that Kiraitu Murungi is one individual who has never lost an election since he joined politics in 1992. This was the first election he lost. So I want us to figure out and try and understand why Kiraitu Murungi finally decided to dump Uhuru Kenyatta, and considering the timing, because if, assuming the Supreme Court are going to nullify the election, why would he move? Or assuming it's going to uphold William Ruto's win, okay, that can be understandable. But before we get into all those details, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two. Click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue. Thank you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And I really appreciate those who joined yesterday, the live show. I really appreciate and value the time and probably the time you committed yesterday. Now, let us get back to the main issue. Kiraitu Murungi is one of the leaders considered in this country to be reformist. And he was first elected, I think, on a Ford Kenya ticket in Imenti. And for you to understand the politics in Meru, because that's what informed his move, you need to figure out how Kiraitu Murungi performed in the just concluded elections. Kiraitu Murungi was defeated by Mwangaza Kawira. And it was expected that he was going to be defeated. And Peter Munya, really, if you look at the outcome of that election, delivered to Azimio the Tigania side. But the Imenti side, where Kiraitu Murungi comes from, they mostly voted for Kawira. And the question is, what really transpired? I tend to think that the outcome of the election is what has now forced Kiraitu Murungi to dump Uhuru and to dump Raila. So in my view, the move by Kiraitu yesterday is informed by the following reasons. Number one, William Ruto is clearly out to try and win legitimacy for his rule. Kenyans went to the polls and the results are out there. William Ruto garnered 7.1 million. Raila Odinga garnered 9.9 7.9 votes. A difference of 200,000, assuming those were the figures, 200,000 votes. Now, William Ruto cannot brag of winning because of the issues which are coming up. In 2017, the difference between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga was 1.4 million. Yet Uhuru Kenyatta had legitimacy issues. So for me, I tend to think that William Ruto is working on that legitimacy. Of course, the constitution is very clear that for you to be declared the president of the Republic of Kenya, you just need to pass the 50% plus a single vote. But that's what is in the constitution. Then there's also the politics. So William Ruto has sat down and has figured out where he performed well, where he performed badly, and why and how. So if you've been following William Ruto's politics of late, it's actually informed by the two strategies, either the court upholding his win or nullifying. And in case the court is going to uphold his rule, William Ruto is working on his legitimacy. He has identified regions where he performed poorly and is trying to figure out how he can win the support in those regions. That's why he went in the northern Kenya and picked the UDM party. That's why William Ruto is going to Meru and is picking the Mbas party, which actually won majority of the county assembly. That's why William Ruto is going out of his way to win the support of people like Kamket. I will not be surprised if William Ruto will go out of his way to look for Lonyongapuo. So strategically and clearly, William Ruto is working on his legitimacy. That's number two. William Ruto is keen on preparing for a possible runoff. We listened to the presentations by both the petitioners and the respondents. So the Supreme Courts are currently busy burning the midnight oil, drafting their ruling. And the ruling outcome can only be two: nullification or upholding. So in case this election is going to be annulled, William Ruto is already preparing. Because the difference was 200,000 which are being questioned, and because he understands, William Ruto already knows where he performed well, where he performed bad, and opportunities which Raila Odinga can actually exploit, and is reaching out to those people. I'm sure, for example, if elections were to be held today, the northern Kenya, which voted for Raila Odinga, might not go that way. Of course, Raila Odinga might win, but the substantial amount of votes which William Ruto will win, courtesy of the UDM party, which he brought to his side. Again, if you look at the Mount Kenya, the sides of Embu, Meru, Tharaka, Mount Kenya East, you can clearly tell that Raila Odinga's performance was not that bad, despite those allegations of rigging. It was not bad. In Tigania East, for example, the figures are not yet out. But Raila Odinga clearly performed well. So he's preparing for a runoff. Where he performed bad, he's trying to get people on board just in case. He's been targeting the elected leaders. Now I think he's now moving to the next target, because for the elected leaders, he's targeting the the legislative arm, which is parliament, how he's going to control it, the elections of the speaker. But now I think he has now shifted his gears to those who control specific regions. So that's number two. Number three, I also tend to think that Kiraitu Murungi might have joined Ruto out of protest. I've been talking to so many people from Meru why Kiraitu Murungi was defeated. Because if you look at the figures, it was embarrassing. So the truth of the matter is that Kiraitu Murungi and Peter Munya were contesting against each other. Then Kiraitu Murungi won in 2017. Peter Munya was made cabinet minister. Peter Munya believes very strongly that William Ruto is the one who blocked him from becoming the governor in this second term governor. So when he joined the government, he became very close to President Uhuru Kenyatta. And if you look at politics is about interest. So Peter Munya did not really get outside there and campaigned for Kiraitu Murungi. So Kiraitu Murungi is yet to forgive him for that. Kiraitu Murungi and his team believes very strongly that if Peter Munya had campaigned for them the way he campaigned for Raila Odinga, probably he would have been the governor. But remember, again, already in Azimio, Peter Munya has entrenched himself. Kiraitu Murungi has already been defeated. Peter Munya has already secured a slot in Azimio. Which means in Azimio, Kiraitu Murungi doesn't have a space. So he must get a space on the other side. So I think it kind of just a protest. And number 4, William Ruto is also keen on perception. I've always opined on this platform that if there's a politician who understands perceptional politics, then that individual is William Samoei Arap Ruto. By bringing by bringing Kiraitu Murungi on board, William Ruto is trying to create an impression that he's taking charge of Meru. Remember, the governor for Meru was elected as an independent. That was the first person William Ruto went for. Then the opponent, who was Kiraitu Murungi, now is the one he has gone for. So perceptionally, and not just Kiraitu alone, Kiraitu went with over 40 elected members of the county assembly. And you remember Kiraitu Murungi had that extension of the extension of Embu, Tharaka, that influence. So he came along with 40 MCAs. It's about perception that William Ruto is now in charge of Meru. Otherwise, assuming Kawira had not joined him and Kiraitu had not joined him, William Ruto, and again, and assuming that majority of MCAs were from Azimio. MPs who won, I think Azimio has 2 or 3. Jubilee has 2 MPs. Azimio 1. Nopeu 1. So Azimio, I think, has 3 MPs from Meru. So William Ruto would not complain. Would not take credit for taking charge of Meru. But now with the governor, with Kiraitu Murungi, I know is now going to target a few MPs there. He's creating that perception. And lastly, I think it's about the control of county assembly and county politics in Meru. The governor is independent. She will need MCS. Majority of MCS are from Kiraitu Murungi's party or Azimio. So it means William Ruto has now taken charge. He's now going to determine who is going to be the speaker. Probably he's going to convince the governor-elect that we want to do this way, so we have to do it this way. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Thank you, guys. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.